to spring break, we started impression. So we're going to discuss impression evidence very quickly before we begin our 4-part series. Impression evidence is defined as objects or materials that have retained the characteristics of other objects through direct contact. Impressions are created when one object is pressed against another material with enough force to leave an impression of the object. Shoe prints, tool marks, tire tracks, bite marks, and marks on a fired bullet are several examples of impression evidence. Impressions may be found in or on many different types of materials. The quality of the impression depends on the object making the impression and the surface conditions, such as how hard or soft it is and what type of material it is. Is it soil, mud, dust, concrete, grass, even skin? Okay, before we discuss the 4 parts of impressions that we're going to cover, you have to remember that there are 3 impression types. Remember fingerprints? The first one is patent impressions. These are visible, 2-dimensional. They leave a trail, such as footprints in the sand. 2. Latent impressions. These are hidden to the eye and require special techniques to be seen. Clean floors may have footprints sitting on them. Number 3. Plastic impressions are 3-dimensional imprints. These are very fragile. These are your plaster of Paris impressions you made before spring break. We're going to cover part 1 of 4. Our first part will be shoe impressions. We began this, before spring break. Here you see an impression to the right. On the left-hand side, you also see a footprint left behind. However, we're going to focus more in on shoe impressions at this moment. Shoe impressions. A shoe print size can indicate the foot size. Prior to spring break, you did an activity with a partner where we measured each other's height, the size of our shoes, the size of our foot, to determine if they were accurate. The depth of a foot or a shoe impression indicates a person's weight also. The type of shoe can tell something of the person's job or personality. The brand of the shoe provides information about the buyer also. There are databases out there that contain the names of specific manufacturers and their tread designs. A CSI investigator will search the databases to find the manufacturer of that sole that was found at a crime scene and search for companies that purchased the sole, such as Nike. Once a match is found, it is class evidence. This may not be enough to prosecute a suspect as of yet. However, you can look at the shoe wear patterns on that sole in that impression that was left behind. A shoe tread showing strong individual characteristics is classified as individual evidence. Factors that might personalize a person's footwear: body weight, the way a person walks, the way their weight is distributed as they walk, the directions of their toes. Do they walk straight? Do they walk pointed in? Do they walk pointed out? The surface on which the person walks: sand, concrete, grass. It's going to leave different impressions. Also, are there unique holes, cuts, and debris within the treads of the sole? Gait and tracks. A gait is your walking habit. However you normally walk is your gait. Asymmetrical gait is when one foot is angled differently or makes a deeper impression or carrying weights. Running or walking, the length of your stride, the pressure, the shape of the impression. Tracks can indicate the number of people at a crime scene, movements of individuals at the crime scene, and where the entrance and exit to the crime scenes located. So why would the following steps be important? How do you think we should collect impression evidence? First, as always, take photos as soon as possible. Second, take multiple photos of the impression from at least 2 different orientations. Place an identifying label and a ruler in position with the impression for the photo. Use oblique lighting when possible. You know this, we discussed this way back when in September. Lift in latent impressions. Different methods to make latent prints visible. Luminol. We saw luminol when we did blood. It makes bloody footprints visible for photography. Dusting. Just like fingerprints, dusting allows latent prints to reveal the impressions. That way we can lift it and or take photographs of it. Electrostatic lifting and gel lifting are techniques that can capture hidden impressions, such as the picture below. How does it work? Basically, it reveals the dust that's left within each step and creates an impression. You can create electrostatic charges and lift impressions from paper, wood surfaces, asphalt, carpeting, luminol, concrete. Gel lifters also recover latent impressions. Cast-in plastic impressions. Remember lab week before spring break? Sand or dirt, you're going to use plaster of Paris. Snow, you're going to use dental stone. Why not use plaster of Paris? I'm expecting to get this answer tomorrow in class. Foot length and shoe size. Determining the type of shoe is first. Once the model is known, is it a tennis shoe? Is it a work boot? Is it a high heel? An estimate of a person's height can be made, not their exact height. Were the estimations you did in class close to your actual height? Again, I'm expecting this answer tomorrow in class. Finally, shoe print evidence. This kind of summarizes up everything we discussed so far. Investigators can analyze a shoe print to determine its class or the type and brand of shoe. They will also look for individual characteristics such as wear patterns and specific damage or defects. Databases of shoe prints are available for investigators to help them determine the brand of shoe to provide leads for a case. On the right-hand side, you can see a picture of the database. Depending on the quality of the impression, investigators may be able to determine a person's speed, again, walking, running, as well as estimate the size of a person based on the impression's depth. Features to analyze. You can look at the tread patterns, size and depth, the wear patterns caused by the way a person walks, material defects or damage. Are there nicks, cuts, etc., and other trace materials such as soil, tar, rocks, and paint that would indicate where a person has been. Now I challenge you. Can you solve this next little scenario? One Saturday morning, Nina saw the three musketeers in the mall, Jenny, Brittany, and Mitzi. They called themselves that because they were always together. "I've been shopping for sandals," Jenny told Nina, "but I have such a wide foot, nothing seems to fit. We've been looking everywhere." "And it's been slow going," Mitzi added. "On account of Brittany's?" "I know," Nina said, looking at Brittany. "I heard you sprained your ankle in gym yesterday. Does it still hurt a lot?" "It's okay, as long as I move really slowly," Brittany told her. "We're going to get ice cream at the Just Dessert shop now. Want to join us?" "Better not," Nina said. "Max is meeting me at home. See you later." Nina was taking a shortcut through Harborville City Park when she saw Mr. Hanson kneeling beside a new sidewalk. The city maintenance man frowned as she drew closer. "Somebody jumped right in the middle here while the cement was still wet," he said, pointing at two narrow footprints embedded in the concrete. "Now I'll have to rip out this section and redo it. Sure can't leave the sidewalk looking like this." "Any idea who have done it?" Nina asked. "A kid over there on the slide said that girls named Brittany, Mitzi, and Jenny were the only ones near here, but he doesn't know which one ruined my sidewalk." "I know who did it," Nina declared. How did Nina figure it out? Let me know your response tomorrow in class.